Okay, let's see if I can explain this better. That wall,
we don't know
right
if they're
there.
parallel.
We don't know if they're parallel. Gordon just asked if we should do this in decimal feet. How's it look?
Wow, the silicone is just not setting up.
I think it's day 11.
Last time we were on here, you saw us doing all these lines and all this measurement layout on the floor, and this was the reason why you might want to follow me.
All right, let's follow Gordon around and find out why.
So we talked about making sure the boards didn't get wider. We found out that wasn't going to be the case because the walls are pure parallel. So if we held just a straight full board coming across here, it's not too bad. We'd get over to this thing here, we'd have about a 5-inch wide rather than 7-inch wide, so that's not too bad. Then we get down to this wall over here that runs this way, and we would have ended up with, again, around a 5-inch wide, which seemed pretty dang good. And then we get down to this wall all the way down here, and we'd end up with a board that was, oh, say, where'd my note go? About a 1/2 inch wide. So that just would be really hard to, first of all, try and put one in. And I was like, well, will the trim cover it? Maybe the trim would, maybe it wouldn't. So then I said, well, what if we split the difference? So we had equal width in this room on this side and this side. Because that room we're going to have 2 different types of flooring, so we can kind of get away. So if I did that, on both these walls, we would have...
Both which walls?
This wall here.
Yeah.
And
the other living room wall.
Other living room wall. We'd have boards that were about 3 inches wide.
I think that's good.
Okay, so that's nice. But then how does it fit to everything else? So, oh, turning back this way. I didn't talk about this one because we already hit the trouble. So if we're holding both of those at 3 inches wide, we get down to here, and we end up with a board, where's my note? That's about
that's good.
A little over 4 inches wide, and the end of the actual board ends within a 1/4 inch of where we'd want it to end for the door break. I was like, oh, that's really, I can live with a 1/4 inch there.
Okay.
So then we come down to the far end when we come in and say, what
Please
size,
explain this jungle gym I have to deal with here, people.
what size board do
I'm coming. He's in, like, I don't even have to put him in fast speed now.
What size board do we need to start with? Okay. And so if we're holding those, we would need to start with a board that would be about 4.5 inches wide.
Okay.
That's pretty good. The only little hiccup we have is that with holding that layout is when we get up against this face, we will have a board that will be about 1 inch wide. However, as you see, we haven't put our covering here. So if we put like a 3/4 inch covering with a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch trim board, we wouldn't even see that board. So I think that's the layout we're going to hold.
Yay! I'm so excited. So we're doing this now?
That took me many hours to go through, and
did.
she saw me sitting there.
It's all right.
Trying different
scenarios. He wrapped it up better than I was gonna. All right, I'm gonna put
so
you guys on the stand. This is the stand.
Underlayment down.
This is where you guys sit a lot of the time. So, here we go. Yay!
I thought you'd appreciate that.
Gordon just said it feels warmer sitting on top of it. So you have this reflective, which will be reflecting the heat from the inside of the room. And of course, this is an underlayment, which means we're going to be putting that LVT flooring down on top of it. But then on the back side, the description of it, like a hardened styrofoam, it's clearly glued together. It doesn't shift around much on the concrete. You'd think it would slide all over the place. I don't find it to slide, do you? And the key that we found on the last one, 2 reasons. You want as few joints as possible. 1, it's less work. And 2, it's less penetration of cold air coming up between the pieces of underlayment, right?
Yeah, but I think in this case, I'm not going to notch that. I'm going to just put a filler in there.
Okay.
Because I'd be taking all that, and I'd have a whole lot of just thin pieces.
All right.
And we'll probably only maybe lay, underlayment up to somewhere, maybe a few rows of it. Then we'll start putting the flooring in, and we can add our more underlayment because we kind of have to step through the process. And there's one thing we haven't totally decided on.
Oh no.
I just remembered. Back to my drawing. I'll explain after, so it's not too lengthy for you guys.
We all thank you.
You'll be editing it forever.
All right, guys. So this is the underlayment tape that we chose last time. I'm sure there's other products out there. I'm not subscribing that this is the best one. A description of it, they sell it right next to the underlayment in the aisle, both at Home Depot and Lowe's. But the description would be that it's like tinsel. It's actually incredibly thin. It feels like you're gonna break it. It's actually not that sticky, but it holds really well to the underlayment. I wonder how many times I can say underlayment today.
Underlayment?
Like you the other day, how many times did you say cabinet? Under the cabinetry.
Under the cabinetry. Under the cabinetry.
Here we go.
Hey, the weather outside is frightful, and the fire is so delightful. Since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. It doesn't show signs of stopping, and I brought me some corn for popping. The lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow. If you suddenly say goodnight, how I'll hate going out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. The fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbying. As long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Gordon has been zoned. He opened his knee pad, and little particles of something in the Velcro landed all over our work surface. We're gonna get started, and we've determined that we need 4.5-inch board at the beginning. Do we call it a run? Do we call it a course? What do we call this?
Sure, course. Sounds
Okay. And that leaves us with 19 board, 7 inches wide, to the area that we will transition to a different color board that matches the, and just so you know, if you buy these, you have to find the right tongue and groove to match. They don't all match. Even within the same companies, they don't all match. But we happen to find some. All right, as we've been working with this, a few things are coming back to us. So per box, there'll be multiple of the same pattern, like the knots, you know, or the grain. So you want to, I think it's called racking, when you sort of dry fit, but you put the patterns together. Another thing we remembered after the fact, we didn't ruin anything, thank goodness, but you do want to have a protective underneath so that you don't accidentally mess up your underlayment as you're cutting. And then always be aware of where the tongue and the groove are. You want to make sure in our design we're putting the cutoff section against the wall so that the next course will have the right groove ready for the tongue. Or is that the tongue and the other groove? I don't know. Anyway, and then I find this very tricky, but he has no issue with it. It's like sheetrock. You just, like he says, you get your hand on where it should be cut on the other side, and then it pops.
I think if you have the underlayment without the backing on it, that you don't have the second cut, but this will make on this concrete a little bit better.
Okay, so I found the spacers. Oh, but Gordon's decided he doesn't want to cut there. He wants to bring it back.
Yeah, I don't want the joint because this one's going to be notched for around here. I don't want it to notch on both sides. So I'm going to shorten, I'm going to take a little bit off that end. That'll slide that joint down. I'll put a piece in here. Minimum 8-inch overlap.
8-inch overlap. Okay. So these are the spacers, and my option is a 2mm or I think that says 5. It's hard to read. I think it's a 5mm. Let's come over where the light is.
So the smaller one.
So you want the 2mm. So you can kind of see there's a groove, or maybe you can't. So we're going to go with 2mm spacer. And this is because this product will actually shrink and expand.
But I don't expect to have a major temperature change on this floor because it's in the basement. I'll just put a few. You can see that we might actually end up putting some wider spacers because it's concrete bows. And I want some support, so like right here I'm going to just kind of feel till, so I put a 5 here because it fits in nicer there. But here you can see that, you know, we have a huge space. You know, we're just going to have to put our trim board down that's going to cover over that. You know,
Yep.
I'm touching on both ends.
So I won't give it away because it might change, but we do have a plan for completely covering over this left knee wall. And I'm disappointed they put the heat up on top of it, but you know, it is what it is.
All right, so I have to get this piece cut, and I could measure and do all sorts of funky stuff, but we'll just take this. This is the edge that needs to be going this way. But I'm just going to take this board, I'm going to flip it over, so now the edge is that way. This is the end that was over there. That's the end I want to cut. I'm going to slide it underneath Right now I have no spacers on either end of the things. I'm tight to the wall, but we're gonna need some space. You can see that when they click in, they're gonna be this much closer than out here at the gray, but I don't want the tab cut off yet. So I'm just gonna cut out at the gray, and then we'll actually have a little extra room for the spacers and everything. Now we flip it back. So now cut ends over there, our tongue's out here.
So not only does it connect on the long edge, but it snaps on the short end. And then I really liked this particular grain pattern because you're never gonna line all that up, but it seems to look okay. All right, so we're just putting a little bit of thought into the second course. We've got the first course at 4.5 inches wide. And then the rest of the boards are all exactly 7 inches wide. And as we can, we hope manufacturers stayed consistent. As we came down, of course, here's the seam. And they recommended that you not have less than 8-inch overlap, you know, so you'd want 8 inches this way and 8 inches that way. So Gordon's left a spot. And once you get these snapped in place, you can slide them along the course carefully. But as we continued the conversation, we realized, well, this is a door, and do we want a seam right where somebody's going to step every time they come in? And what was your thought here?
My thought was not to put it right in the center because I'm not sure how that edge will wear. So I'm going to put it to the back side of the door because when you walk in, you're going to kind of walk this way. And so I'm going to put it back here. As you can see, we're laying these backwards because I'm just trying to get this started. Once we get this first course laid, right? We'll be working our way from that wall this way.
Okay.
Because that's the way they're designed to go in.
Oh, left to right?
Yep. So I'm doing this because I'm trying to extend this out over the end. So
it's a little bit of a challenge. You go in, you go to a 45. There's a little thing in there. There it is. And then it pops down, and then they recommend a little mallet.
well, if I was laying them the other way, they'd be laying more on top of each other. Instead, I'm kind of coming underneath. You see that?
Yeah, totally backwards. I now remember. Yeah, we did go left to right.
Yeah, that's way.
We didn't have a door at the beginning of it, though.
I'll do this a little better by lifting that up. They
You got it? Oh.
almost
And then you take your mallet.
stand on that board. Just stand back there. It'll help reduce the movement.
Shift.
Yeah, the shift, and then I can.
Let's see what he does.
Now I don't bound on the end because I don't want to destroy the lip, so I have a scrap piece that I put in there. And I just get There you go.
It did. It's all done. All right, we're gonna keep moving. We'll come back if we think of something else. Okay, we're back.
Just lock this in.
There's a reason Gordon's doing all this.
So this wall, if you look down it, it's not perfectly square. We could have probably gotten a lot better at cutting if we had done some other system. But like I said, we're putting some trim down there. So I got the overall straightness, which we had done with our chalk liner the last time we were messing with stuff. The overall straight of this wall. And now I lock these together so that this isn't floating around. And it's coming straight down the board. So now I can use this to lay in this pattern here. I think I'm remembering the tricks that I saw in a video. So basically what we'll do is we're going to take a piece here. And we're just going to lay it on top. Here we're going to line this up like this. This up there.
It's an angle.
Yep. We're going to put this so that's all lined right up there. Right. Now I need to make a cheat piece. That one has the notch on both ends. That one will be going in that space eventually, right there. But this here now, what we want to do, if I recall, I'm gonna go over the trash can. We're gonna cut this tab off. Hopefully I'm cutting the right, I can't remember if I cut both tabs off or one tab off. I saw it on a YouTube video, so it must be right. Now, I just put this piece kind of in place here, like that. Means that we're going to have to cut it here.
Wow, you're applying a Sharpie.
I know. Hopefully I get this right, or we have Sharpie marks all over the place.
Oh no, we're throwing stuff away.
No, you can get them off. I would use the block itself. However, this piece here is not necessarily all that square.
We increased the door size from a 32-inch to a 36-inch door so that, you know, you could move in furniture.
Yeah, that's about the same. Just making sure that was square. So I'd cut that to about there. I might have to let it taper. I'm not really sure because I can't project that line out because it won't project properly if I do that. Okay, so I'm gonna cut that there.
Oh, I see. So you're trying to acknowledge, you know, there's going to be a space. Oh, so that's the cutout. And then to check yourself, you could just measure.
Yeah. So now you see I'm off my line a little because of that wall. So the amount that I'm off the line on this side, I'll just come back here. So it's just going to be just a little bit back. It wasn't too far out of square. And I'll just cut it on that line there. And then we'll see if it fits in. And we can always trim a little extra off, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if this here works out.
All right, so in sheetrock, when you have a corner like this, you might, on the shorter line, use a saw.
I think I am. Some
Okay.
of the guys, I did watch them and they were able to do it with a knife, but sometimes they blew out some of their corners with the knife. So I think I'm going to try and use a saw on some of these and then snap on the other side.
All right. Well, we'll get the other corner done.
You also don't want to cut in towards your corner because if you overcut, you go into your other piece there.
Mm-hmm.
Shaving nicely.
While he's doing this, I guess I can show materials, why we chose them. So as you can see, there's like a laminate top. But then everything else is like a polymer. It's like, yes, Wilbur, it is. So that's kind of why we went with that material. The idea is we're putting it in a basement. Concrete likes to sweat. We don't think the concrete sweat will come up through, but even if water were to go between the seams from mopping and cleaning, which they don't guarantee. They say it's waterproof, that it can't go between the seams.
That's the claim.
But even if it did, what interested me is that it's not a paper base, it's plastic. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Take two.
Get in there pretty nicely. Oh, freak. So when you do this, make sure you have your board facing the right way. But we have a nice pattern for the piece that we are going to use.
Yeah.
But what I can do on my pattern now is I can help accommodate for this here.
Yeah.
Let's lay it board the correct way. Here one is. Laying the correct way.
Here one is, he says.
We can lay this over.
Hold on, I don't like that pattern.
Find me a pattern not to go right here.
That board, and it has this end to it. Is it that one? It's this one right here.
Get it? This
Actually,
one?
no, don't do that one. No. Hold on. I will find it. I'll be back. take 3 is by far the best.
It might be a little bit out there, but we're gonna find out.
That looked really good. No gap. Even the grains lining up kind of nice.
Get these together tight.
The other side looks good. I'm kind of glad we redid it.
Held up on this edge here
Yeah,
still.
actually there's a little hang right there.
Yeah, but I'm not able to get in, so I have to again shave this off a little.
Yeah, just a little. That's all right. We can do that, right?
Yeah.
All right. Gordon has perfectly installed the second course there. Looks fantastic. There's the seam. You can't even see it. Oh, I wasn't on it. That's why you couldn't see it. It's right there. That was a nifty little...
Hopefully if I got everything latched in so that we're parallel, it'll work good. Step up, off that. I'm checking that these seem fairly tight, you know, because I'm just kind of extending that. So I think it'll be okay. So now we got to get our length, measure our 2 lengths, because as you can see, this side I think is pretty square. That side is what looks screwed up. You can see I should have got my cut, should have gone back to here, and I could have ground more of it. Maybe, I started square, but when I got down here, it was no longer square. I knew when I cut it. Remember that day? Do we have a video of
We
that?
do. It's in the intro. So yes, in the intro, this is the knee wall he's cutting. And we're back.
So I just clipped it into the piece that we already notched for the door, so I'm flush on that side. This is the side that has the funky angle happening. So now I can mark where we're going to cut to. There it is. I want to kind of take off the... and then I got to go grab my tape measure because I left it on the floor again or something.
We'll be back.
3/4 is what I figured that was going to need to go to. Should be right about there. A little hard to see, but it's right there. Then we just connect these 2 lines right there. So that's one cut, and then this is going to be the tricky cut here because it gets really narrow. So we'll see if we can make that cut.
Oh yeah, I can almost see the lines.
It comes down to almost nothing there. In fact, I might put a little marker on that to help me see it easier, but we'll see. Maybe I can see it without. I got to set down this on a solid flat surface with good light so I can cut and see all at the same time where to do this.
Ugh.
Oh, crap. Nobody's going to step there because it's right up against where the door is.
Are we putting a plate?
I might put a little transition piece in there anyways
Yeah.
because of the height will
Yeah.
help with stuff. Okay, get back on our marks. I think what we're going to do... I think we had it upside down before.
You did at one point, but then I moved it the way you just had it.
Well, it's like bowing up in the middle on me, and that was one of the problems. Let's try it. It's still walking off there. Right there, see how it walks off?
Mm-hmm.
Once you start a cut, you have to keep following that cut.
Shredding the heck out of it. Maybe a saw would have been better.
Probably. Okay, let go. Resume.
Resume. Oh, brilliant.
We'll see when we get to the other end where it gets even thinner. And where I have my miscuts.
Yeah.
I certainly hope we're getting this the right width. 1 inch at a time. That's right, it's supposed to blend back in here, not back here. But it's pretty much close enough. This is as far as I need to go, is right there. You can see it's not too smooth along the edge there, so I'm gonna just try to shave some of those roughnesses off.
But again, this is the side that ends up at the door under potentially a plate, right?
Well, I might put like some kind of little transition. They make a little end cap at doorways for in that area, so. Okay, know something?
What?
I have a tool that'll work much nicer for that. I'm just trying to take the high spots off. Watch your fingers. Yeah, just hold it so I can go out the top like that.
Got it.
Doesn't look like it's doing much, but it's literally taking the high spots.
I feel it doing something.
Yeah,
Every
you
time
can
it
see
hits,
it collecting a little bit
yeah,
of
every
gray
time
in
it catches a high spot, it binds up a little.
That might be enough. We don't know. Some of those are probably too low. Let's go see what it sits in like. And I think I need to take a little bit more off. It looks like either this front corner here and or this back corner here.
We'll be back. Happy?
Maybe. Maybe need a notch a little bit right there. You see that? Because that might hold us out. Because I didn't really account for that, which I know when I first did it. I only ran my board to here and then it kind of extended it. So we'll just now kind of scribe a little bit of area there.
Take 100.
It's
Just kidding.
It's better.
Just kidding.
And it's probably going to
It's
be.
like the third time.
Let's see how this fits in with this piece now. Now the challenge could be is trying to snap these pieces together because.
Oh, getting the angle?
Yeah, see they.
Well, you could put them together and then just slide them in.
Possibly. Yeah, I think I'm going to try.
Don't damage the ends.
Okay, you like to help?
You want to put that one in before we lay the
We gotta
rest of it
line
down?
those two up. You're gonna have to lift. You're gonna have to use two hands. You're gonna have to put the camera somewhere. If you want to go put it on a tripod, go put it on a
No,
tripod.
we got this. I got this. Maybe. All right.
You've got to put that down into this. You see how this is not the same? You got to make them. There we go.
Needs to go that way.
We need to pull this one out a little for a minute.
I'm not sitting on it. Okay.
Get it lined up there.
Yep. It could go back a little.
I might have to trim something a little more. It's not quite.
It's not popped in place. There's still an open groove.
Let's see that. Oh, there's still an open groove?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what we needed to try and get rid of.
It's tricky because normally we would tap from that end, but that end's against the wall.
Well, they even make pulling tools to do a little tap. Okay. So we're gonna slide this way some.
I don't know what you want. This way?
Yep.
Okay.
No, out.
Oh,
Now watch, because we just knocked those other things off.
Yeah, I'll have to
Now
do
we
it.
want to get lined up. And then hold that still. I'm gonna try to
Oh, now
slide
you're
it
in. Oh, look at that. What a smart guy. Oh my word. Are we actually going to start putting flooring in now?
No, we're gonna break.
Oh, all right, we're back and we're going to get something done.
Now that she said that, we're in trouble.
Okay, a little bit of an update. We're moving a little slow. That's okay. I'm being very picky about the patterns and just how the grains all, you know, work together. And we're just making sure that all of the seams are tight. So this is what Gordon's working on. Because I stole his tool and took it to an apartment we're working on.
Yeah, my undercut saw is not here, so I'm doing to do it.
So he's doing an old school.
So I pulled the underlayment stick off the back so it was a smidge thinner. And I'm just put the saw blade on top of a piece and I'm cutting under there. It should be a little bit thicker, but not too much.
Slow going, huh?
Well, because I can't really get much of a slide on it.
Okay, I made a comment about liking the patterns. I just want to follow up. So we end up using the Home Depot's cheapo probably Traffic Master. Two things we're noticing different from the Smart Core that we used in the second bedroom. Number one, the tongue will break easier. It just does. I don't have a broken one right now. We kept taking them out. The second thing though that I really like is that on the Smart Core, the pattern was the 48 inches, and it got to the point where we had patterns we just didn't like mixing together on the second bedroom, and then we had like 2 or 3 boards that were all exactly the same at the end. This one, I made the comment to Gordon that it's kind of interesting because I feel like on this pattern, although there are similarities here and there and they clearly have a pattern, the board isn't the exact same. And Gordon made the comment that they probably cut the laminate not to 48 inches or divisible by 4. They just offset it. So you can be going along and like you can see that this here is a seam and this board is the exact same, see? But because they offset it, it's okay. And then guess what? It's over here too. And again, it's way off. And we didn't necessarily cut that because this is a full board right here. This was cut, but this is a full board. So it ended there by manufacturer. Plus I thought it looked like a person, eyes, and anyways. All right, we continue on. We continue on. Check it out. It's snowing.
Oh, it's cold.
Sorry.
Hey, the weather outside is frightful, and the fire is so delightful. Said sweet, no place to go. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
We've, interestingly enough, totally lined up with the knee wall in the last one. So whatever you cut off on the right-hand side,
When you flipped it like
when you
this.
flip it back over, it becomes a starter on the left-hand side. And anything you cut, because maybe you don't want every single beginner board to be exactly 48 inches and all land in the same spot, whatever you cut off on the beginner side becomes the end on the right-hand side. Okay, so to recap, this is the left side of the board, and the cut end goes against, now that there's no tongue or groove, it goes against the wall. Take 1. Action.
Did I leave enough
Yeah.
room
Ooh.
to fit everything, or are we gonna hit the concrete before we click in?
Ooh.
I know, that's gonna be the question.
So now, are you sure that's the best place to hit it? Oh.
No, 'cause this board here's in my
Don't
way.
mar up the next scores. Let's just get that out of your way. Ooh. Ooh.
Now, you see that's not really quite right there.
Yeah, but you have room still.
No, it's not. I'm going on top of it and not
Oh.
into it.
No. Yeah.
You see that?
Yep.
So we got to pull it back a smidge because I think I'm already caught on top of it.
Take 2.
Of these going me in the way. Oh, wrong. Profession. Still have
It
space
doesn't
back
show
inside
signs
there.
of stopping, and I brought me some corn for popping. The lights are turned way down low. Let it
You're almost there.
snow, let it snow.
Oh,
If you
that's so nice.
suddenly say goodnight,
Just close up.
I'll
Did
be
they both?
going out
Oh,
in the
this one
storm.
looks pretty good.
But if you really hold me tight,
Let's try and get it
all
from
the
the end.
way home I'll be warm. The fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still
breaking.
goodbye. As long as you love me so, let it
good as the
snow,
others.
let it snow, let it snow.
Let it snow, snow, snow. Let it snow, snow, snow. Let it snow, snow, snow.
So somehow, in the last 2 boxes, this pattern
Knot line.
has the knot line pattern has become a repeat,
Overabundant.
like everywhere, and I can't match it. So there's one there, there's one there, there's one there, and then it comes over
Here.
here.
And here.
It goes right there. It goes over there. So needless to say, we're done.
For today.
But you get a sneak peek at what the next color is going to be, and it is beautiful. So that is going to be day 11. Day 11.
If we suddenly kiss goodnight,
Floor work is
how
the
I
most
hate going out
painful
in the storm.
work.
If you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. I'll be warm. Hey, the fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbye. As long as you love me so, let it snow.